Hello you guys and welcome to a new reading vlog. In this video I'm going to read books on my physical TBR that I've been putting off reading. So I have them on my TBR for quite a while and so far I haven't read them. I never picked them. I was inspired by this video because in my January wrap-up I also picked 3 books for February to read based on my prompt TBR jar. I've never done that before. That was the first time I ever picked books to read based on a prompt jar, or in my case a cocktail shaker jar, prompt jar, whatever. And one of the prompts that I picked was a book you've been putting off, and I picked Bunny to read based on that prompt because this is a book I've been putting off. I have it on my physical TBR since August, I think, July maybe even, and I still haven't read it. So I picked that book, and then after filming I was like, wait, maybe this is a really good way to actually finally read some books that have been on my TBR for quite a while. So I thought, let's just make a video out of it to motivate myself to read some books that, well, that I've been putting off basically. So we're gonna start with Bunny, and after that we'll pick some more books that I have been putting off to read in this vlog, and I'll take you along as I read these books and what I rate them in the end, what I think of them, and maybe they weren't worth putting them off. Is that a sentence? Maybe they are really good reads and maybe I do give them a high rating. I don't know, we're gonna see. The story behind Bunny, or why I bought Bunny, I bought this book in, I think it was August, when I was in France with Wes, my boyfriend, and his mom. That was our first vacation together, and I just love when I'm on vacation or when I'm in a different city, I love going to bookstores and buy books there as sort of a souvenir, sort of as a memory. And the thing is, in France, especially in the town that we were in, Toulouse, there weren't a lot of bookstores that also sold English books, and especially the books and genres that I like romance, fantasy, romancy, thrillers. There weren't many bookstores that had those books, but there was one bookstore that had like 2 big shelves of popular English books that I really like to read. And I said to Wes, you can pick any book and I'm going to buy that specific book. And I think he picked a different book before, but I either already read that or that just wasn't my thing. I don't know, I don't remember. And then I said, pick a different one. And then he chose Bunny, and I think he chose this based on the pink cover because he knows that I love colorful books on my bookshelf. So he picked Bunny, and in my head I thought that one of my best friends read this book. I know she read it, and I thought she gave it a really good rating. So I was like, perfect, let's just buy that one, and I'm so excited, I'm going to read it. And then I came home and figured out that her rating was actually not good at all. I think she gave it a 1 star or 2 star even, and I vividly remember her review now, which was, what in the bunny is this? And ever since I saw that, I have been slightly putting off reading this book because I just don't know what to expect. But I have to say, like, my first thoughts based on the cover story was, I'm intrigued, let's read it. So, you know what, it's finally time to read this actual book, and we're gonna read it. We're gonna see if I agree with her review or I may have an entirely different review. I don't know, we're gonna read it anyway. I'm going to start reading the book in a cafe because I have been inside my house all day and I'm having a hard time. My grandmother passed away this night, actually last night, and I've been in the house, I've been working, and I just need to get away for a little bit. So I figured out, let's start this book by going to a cafe and just read there for an hour, just order a drink and maybe like a snack. Oh, what's this curl? Maybe a snack and just, I don't know, just be out for a bit. yeah, I'm at chapter 8 right now, page 73, and this book has 373 pages, so 300 more pages to go. So far, I don't know, I'm intrigued, to be honest. The book, by the way, is about Samantha, and she is a writing student, sort of, on an MFA program at Warren University, and there are these girls, like a girl group of 4 girls who are calling themselves bunnies. They call each other bunnies. It's kind of their nickname for each other. And Samantha doesn't really understand them, but then she's invited to have like a gathering with them. Right now Samantha is just interacting with the bunnies, and I have no clue where this is going. I know this is a horror story. I think it is a horror story. Part thriller, part horror, part teen drama, says a review by Sunday Independent. So I think scary stuff must be happening, but I have no idea what it's gonna be. But I have to say, I'm intrigued. I really want to see where this is going. It could start getting really weird, which is what my friend said. She said, I just texted her saying, I don't know, I kind of like the beginning. And she was like, yeah, I like the beginning too. But I don't know, right now, I just want to keep reading, to be honest. I think I might read a lot more tonight. I think I'm gonna get up to page 150 at least. I don't know, I really want to see where this is going. It's the next day. I read up to page 170, something like that. I just entered part 2 of the book. Here you go, part 2. And I get it now. I get my friend's review, because what's going on in this book? It's so weird. Weird things are happening. I don't want to give spoilers, but things are exploding. They're killing animals. And I have no clue constantly where they are, what they're doing, who they're with, what's going on. It's such a weird book, and not weird in a good way. Like, the first 70 pages were so promising. I was so intrigued, and then it really quickly went downhill from there. Just in an instant, it was merp. Yeah, I'm seriously even debating DNFing, not finishing this book. I don't normally do that. I never DNF a book. But if I were to DNF a book, this book would be it. I just, also a little bit for the sake of this video, I want to continue, but also for myself, just to give it one more chance to see if it could improve, but I don't have faith in it. What's going on? I don't know. You guys, I finished Bunny the day before yesterday, actually. I finished Bunny. And I needed some time to think about it, because what a book. I very much disliked it. Like, the first 70, 80 pages were super promising. I really got invested into the story. I really liked the writing style. And I was intrigued. I was intrigued to see what was going to happen, where it was gonna go. To be honest, I just don't know what happened. I still don't know what happened, and I finished the book. Reading it felt like one big fever dream, and that's not an issue for me necessarily, because I've had that feeling with books before, and there are books with that gave me that feeling that I still rated very high, because the writing style I sort of liked, to be honest. Like, short sentences, it feels like you're just flying through it. It feels like you're sucked into the story. That wasn't the issue. The writing style I pretty much liked. However, I still have no clue what happened in the book. Too many random things happened. I think I said this before, but things exploded. I feel like were trying to mutate animals, humans, maybe. I don't know. I still don't know what's going on. I feel like, was she sick? Did she have a fever? I don't know, was it real? Was she... I still don't know, and that's just such a weird feeling for me. I don't even know how to talk about this book because I just have no clue what was going on this entire time. So that's all I can say. I'm gonna give it a 1 star. I'm surprised with how many good ratings it has on Goodreads. I did already start my next book, or actually I did read a book in between because I needed something light and fluffy and something that I looked forward to after Bunny, because I was scared that if I was gonna dive into another book I had been putting off immediately, I would end up in a reading slump. So I read Caught Up in between and absolutely loved that. I devoured it within a little more than a day. Started it in the evening, the day before yesterday, and finished it yesterday evening. But yesterday, after finishing Caught Up, I also started a new book that I've also been putting off for quite a while now, and it's the last story of Mina Lee. I bought this in the secondhand English store in Amsterdam, and to be honest, this isn't a book I would normally buy for myself, or I would normally pick for myself, but I was kind of intrigued to try something different, especially because I found it at the secondhand store. And yeah, every time I find a book there, I'm like, well, if I'm interested, I have to buy it because it might not be here next time. But yeah, I also just wanted to try something new. So this is a perfect read for this video. It's about a Korean woman and her mother. And her mother moved from Korea. She was originally from North Korea, but as a kid moved to South Korea. And then as an adult, she moved to Los Angeles. Is it Los Angeles? Anyway, California. The story is about how she settled in the USA, I believe, and then about her daughter, and just, I think their storylines are kind of woven, but I'm not far yet, so we'll have to see about that. I'm still intrigued, to be honest. I'm at page 50 maybe? Oh, 40, not even far into it. The writing style is pretty fun up until now, so we're just gonna see where this goes. I have no clue if I'm gonna like this or not. Might surprise me. So we're just gonna see. It's a few days later and I think I'm 2/3 into the book. I'm at page 250 right now, and the book has 379 pages. So I need a little bit more than 100 pages. And so far, the book is intriguing to me, but it's not a book that fully grasps my attention, that sucks me into the story. I am not... When I read, I like to have a feeling of, oh my god, I can't stop reading and I want to find out what is happening. And I do want to find out where it's going. But it's not, I don't know, I just want a book to grasp me, and this book doesn't fully do that. So far we follow Mina, which I told you is Margot's mom, and Mina moved to Los Angeles from Seoul in 1987. And we also follow Margot in 2014. Margot is her daughter. They didn't have a lot of contact before Mina died. They did have contact, but they didn't tell each other a lot of things. And we follow Mina when she first arrives in Los Angeles, and then Margot in 2014, when after her mother passed away, and she just want to find out more things about her mother's life, basically. So it's a dual POV and we follow both of them. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful story, but I just don't think that this genre is for me. It's like a literary fiction, and to be honest, I never read literary fictions. I like romance books and fantasy, thrillers. I just never read literary fiction. I just wanted to try it out if maybe after a few years it was for me right now, but I just don't think it is, because I do think that this book is probably a really beautiful book, but I don't know, I can't get a hold of it. I just think this genre isn't for me, and I prefer other genres. But it's not a bad book. I hope to finish it today so I can move on to the next book. But I am curious to see what the ending is going to be like, what the last 100 pages is going to be like. So we'll just read and see. finished the last story of Mina Lee and I want to talk about it. To be honest, in the end, I did kind of like this book. I already told you that we follow Mina, a Korean woman who moved to Los Angeles, and we also follow Margot, her daughter, and they didn't have a lot of contact in the days before Mina's death. And Margot, we read about how Margot just wants to find out what happened and what was going on in the last months / year of her mother's life. And we also read about the few years after Mina moved to Los Angeles and how she settled in LA, and yeah, just her life as an immigrant in the USA. The thing is, I never really got to that point in the book where you just want to keep on reading and just needs to know the ending. For some reason, that point, yeah, that just didn't happen for me. I did enjoy reading it, but I wasn't really hooked on the story. For me, I just really think that this isn't my genre. I already told you that before I started reading. Like, I don't normally read literary fiction. I just wanted to try it out when I bought this book. My conclusion is just, this isn't my genre. It still isn't my genre. I generally think that this is a beautiful book. Objectively speaking, I can say that this is a beautiful book, but it just isn't my book because it's not my genre. I'm having a hard time rating this book because of that, because I feel like if I rated how much I enjoyed the book, it would be a 3-star. But I don't necessarily think that the book deserves a 3-star. I think it may deserve a higher rating. But it's not my book. It's not my genre. It's not my book. But it's not a bad book. I think I'll just rate it 3.5 stars. And then I started reading Every Summer After. And I'm already, I would say, 25% in. I'm at page 80, and to be honest, I kind of like it so far. I really like it. I feel like it's very fast-paced or medium-paced, but definitely not slow-paced. And from page 1, I was already intrigued, a little bit hooked. So I just want to keep on reading. It's about Persephone, if I say that correctly, and she used to have a crush / sort of a relationship with Sam when she was a teenager. And Sam lived in a town where Persephone always went for holidays with her parents, and they just had this relationship that somehow ended when she was around 18, I think, 18, 19. Yeah, 18. And then they didn't talk for 12 years until she's 30 and his mom passed away. She's invited to the ceremony, the memorial of Sam's mom. And that is why she's going back to that town and meeting up with Sam again, obviously. And that's the point where I'm sort of where I am now. They just met up again and their connection is very obvious. Their chemistry is very obvious. So I am very much curious to see where this is going, if they are going to connect. Probably what happened 12 years ago. I'm into it. I want to keep reading. I finished Every Summer After. I think we did pretty good in this video because with every book I read, my rating went up. And yeah, it was it was getting better. But well, I have to say that it was like the better read of the 3. I'm still not fully impressed with this book. It was, let's just first say, it was a fun read. It was an easy read, a very quick read. I went through this like a rocket ship. I read this so fast, within 2 days maybe? 1 day? I don't even remember. It was such an easy read. This was lovely in that department. I had a good time reading this. I was intrigued. I really wanted to find out what was going on. I really wanted to keep reading. And just get to the ending to see if they would come together in the end. But something I have to say is I feel like this isn't a unique story. I'm not really impressed with it in that way. I feel like, I know a lot of people compare this to, I think it was Love and Other Words from Christina Lauren, and I think I read that book, but I don't remember what it was about. However, even if I didn't read that book, I feel like this is a story that we've all read about before. I feel like this is a story that we all already know because there are many books with a similar story. There were some parts in the book where I was quite annoyed with the characters. I don't want to give spoilers, but I have to say something because I have to review this book right now and I have to say something about the characters. There was some sort of cheating involved throughout the book. Physical cheating, but also, or attempts at physical cheating, or hinted at physical cheating. Anyway, but also mentally cheating, and like the two characters were always in love with each other even when they weren't in contact for 12 years. You can read about other relationship that the female main character had, and there was one particular relationship where the guy was an absolute good guy. Like, he was interested, he was supporting her, he was generally in love with her, and she just didn't put any effort into that relationship, and she mentally, I think she wasn't in the relationship, she wasn't involved, and I just didn't like the part. I was like, girl, he's good for you, either you date him or you don't, but don't keep him, don't do this to him. Like, I didn't really like the, yeah, I didn't like that, to be honest. Little recap, fun, easy read. I certainly enjoyed this book. I enjoyed reading this, however, not really a good book, I feel like. So I'm gonna stick with 3.5 stars. Not too bad. With that review, we've read 3 books in this video, and that's where I'm going to finish it. We read 3 books I have been putting off for so long. I'm glad that I read them. I'm having so much fun, like clearing out my TBR, reading through my TBR, and just lower that number of my physical TBR. And I am having a good time, like reading some books that I've been putting off and reading the books on my TBR. So this was good for me. This video, it was good for me and my physical TBR. So I really enjoyed myself. Not all books were great. We already know that, bunny. But at least I read them. At least I was able to figure out myself what I thought of the book. Yeah. Let me know what you would like in the next reading vlog. I was thinking maybe reading my books with the highest Goodreads rating and the lowest Goodreads rating as a comparison, or maybe making a reading vlog where I finish some series, because I have some series on my bookshelves that I still need to finish. So maybe a reading vlog where I finish series that I'm currently reading. Just a thought. But let me know if you guys have any other fun ideas for me to film. If you like this video, please do a thumbs up for me and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Doei doei!